Hello and welcome back to the Battle Room. My name is Cullen, and today I'm going to walk you through Kyogre. I thought, hey, I made a Zacian video. Zacian's like easily the best Pokemon in the game. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 I think is Kyogre, so let's talk about Kyogre. So first things first, to really understand our opponent here and to understand Kyogre, we have to read that hot, juicy Pokemon lore. I'm going to take this from the Sapphire game where Kyogre originated. It seems fitting. Kyogre is named in mythology as the Pokemon that expanded the sea by covering the land with torrential rains and towering tidal waves. It took to sleep after a cataclysmic battle with Groudon. So basically, Kyogre is the sea. It is the god of the sea. It's basically a god. It just made all the water in the world, all the seas. So Kyogre's kind of cool. It's kind of, what can I say? I like Kyogre. I like Kyogre's lore. It's deep. It tells me that it created the sea, and I kind of love that for Kyogre. So now that we got the lore out of the way, I'm going to skip right to the ability because I think the ability is the most important part of Kyogre, and we're going to go from there. So, the ability is Drizzle. Basically, it sets up rain whenever this Pokemon enters the field. Now, I think Kyogre is so broken because of Drizzle. So, normally in VGC, for the past couple years we've been playing, the Primal Groudon and Kyogre have been allowed and have been used, but now the primal orbs are gone, and the primal orbs were really strong, particularly Groudon's, because Groudon would make it so that water moves can't be used. They would just fizzle out completely. But now Groudon only has Drought and Kyogre still has Drizzle, so now the water moves don't fizzle out and you can actually hit Groudon with your water stab. This is really important and really relevant to why Kyogre overtakes Groudon by such a large margin. I do think Groudon is still good. We can talk about Groudon in another video, but I think that's what makes Kyogre so strong. Drizzle is so broken, it's such a good ability, and even when it's gone, your attacks aren't fizzling out. So basically, the main idea of Kyogre is to set up your Drizzle with just sending Kyogre out and then pressing Water Spout. Water Spout is a base 150 water move that does insane damage. So basically, Drizzle gives you a free rain boost, and then you just sweep from there. It's a really simple Pokemon, and I think that's what makes Kyogre so good. It's easy to use, but really good. I think sometimes some Pokemon are a little bit harder to use. You have to navigate around them. Stuff like Solgaleo, you can't just lead it into the enemy team and just hope it works. I mean, you can. Sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't. Kyogre, you can lead it to the enemy team almost every time and just lead Kyogre Tornadus, and there's a pretty good chance you'll probably be able to win the battle just from that lead alone. Even if they have a good counter lead, you can just pivot around that and, you know, sweep them. So I think the idea of Kyogre is really simple, and I think that's what makes it good. But also, the damage output is insane. So now that we've covered Drizzle, let's look at these juicy stats. Kyogre's base stats are pretty nuts. So we have base 100 HP, which is that's bulky, dude. That's crazy. That's kind of crazy. The attack stat doesn't matter. Base 90 defense. This is the Achilles heel, the weakness of Kyogre. The defense is where you're gonna have to hit it if you wanna succeed. And I think there's a lot of new strong physical grass types, specifically Rillaboom, that do give Kyogre issues as well. We'll be talking about the counters later. But the defense stat is its weakness. Stuff like Groudon Precipice Blades, even just physical moves from like Landers and stuff can do big damage. So the defense leaves a lot to be desired, but it's kind of what's balancing it. The special attack stat is base 150. With Drizzle plus the special attack stat, this Pokemon is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's pure water typing as well, so you basically just need Water Spout and Drizzle, and this Pokemon is good. When the Primals were allowed, Groudon got a Fire typing, which was amazing for Groudon, but Kyogre was still relevant and still strong, even though it was pure water. It didn't get a secondary typing. So pure water is just quite a blessing, and it makes this Pokemon quite ridiculous. And the special attack set, of course. The special defense is insane. 140 is no joke, and it makes it so Kyogre is really difficult to KO on the special side. This allows Pokemon like Lecky and stuff like to actually not just one-shot unless they're holding certain items to help edge that out. But for the most part, this Pokemon won't get one-shot from the special side, even from a Pokemon like a Lecky. And you can also capitalize on the bulk, run more bulk. This Pokemon is really bulky while also being a sweeper. It's kind of like Zacian in a way, like where you run a really glass set, but because of the high natural stats, you're still quite insane and still bulky, even though you have 0 bulk. The speed is base 90, which I think is kind of good and kind of bad. It allows for some potential Trick Room shenanigans if you wanted to that, but it also abuses Tailwind as well, so it's kind of the best of both worlds in that case. I think 90 is perfectly fine for Kyogre here. So now, typing-wise, I touched on it a little bit, but Pure Water is fine for Kyogre. You don't really need to run anything else. You just want to spam your water moves. That's about it. Pure water's fine. You do big damage. You set up Drizzle. That's all you need to do. The simplicity is key here. So for moves, I think there's basically 5 moves you're going to probably want to run. Those being Water Spout, Origin Pulse, Thunder, Ice Beam, and Protect. Water Spout is... come on, it's broken. It's so good with Kyogre. If you ever get to move first with this move, you're probably winning. It's just such a good move. Origin Pulse is when you take damage, so you have another spread water move. And then Ice Beam is for potential ice coverage, Thunder for electric coverage, and then Protect. You got to keep your big whale safe. I think you can also run like Muddy Water. You could run like... wait, why am I telling you to run Muddy Water? You could also run stuff like Hydro Pump or Scald if you want that single target. But I think with the way Max is, you don't actually need to do that anymore. And if you ever feel like you need a single target move, I would suggest just maxing your Kyogre. There's other neat moves like Calm Mind and stuff, but for the most part, those are the moves you're gonna need and the ones you're gonna use. So let's give you an example set. So obviously you're going to run Drizzle. I think Mystic Water is a really good item because for the most part this Pokemon just wants to be pressing the water move. The coverage moves are nice, but at the end of the day you want to press rain boosted, Mystic Water boosted water moves. So I'm a huge fan of Mystic Water. It's probably my favorite item for it. I think you can run Scarf or Specs, but you can run the other items. Just they are still useful, but I think Mystic Water seems to be the most consistent, and it's much better in best of 3s than something like Specs or Scarf because if they know your Specs or Scarf, they can play around that. But Mystic Water, overall good, consistent item. Moveset, I went for Water Spout, Origin Pulse, Ice Beam, and Protect. I went for the ice coverage here, but I really think you can choose whichever one you think your team needs. I was currently running a Pikachu team, so I thought Ice Beam, I don't really need the electric coverage, and Ice Beam was really great for me. I really liked it for hitting Amoonguss, but sometimes I did miss like Max Lightning to potentially set up terrain, but for the most part, I didn't really miss it, and I was really glad with Ice Beam. But Thunder can easily fit there as well. For the spread, I went with Max Special Attack and Max Speed. Bulk can go a long way, and I think bulky Kyogre is something that we might see in the future. I just really think this spread is really simple and effective. You live most of the hits from Rillaboom at -1 anyways, so it's not a huge deal. If you intimidate them, I ran Incineroar, so like I was accounting for Intimidate, but Rillaboom is hard to live the hits from anyways, so is Kartana. So I would suggest running Max Special Attack, Max Speed. It was really effective and it got the job done. And that's really it. It's a very straightforward, simple Pokemon. I'm sure there's better spreads and you can add some bulk, but I think for any beginning spread, this one is just perfectly fine. So let's talk about partners. Partners, oh man, there's only one partner that I really think is important here, and that's Tornadus. I think Tornadus is really insane with Kyogre. You set up Tailwind, the speed is instant, Kyogre is instantly spamming Water Spouts. That's what makes this Pokemon so good. It's partly just because Tornadus can really power up this Pokemon. You could also use other prankster Tailwinders such as Talonflame or Whimsicott. Don't use Talonflame, but Whimsicott's pretty decent too. But I like Tornadus a lot more because it does get access to Rain Dance as well. And then, even if they switch in another Weather Setter, boom, you just press Water Spout anyways and Rain Dance, and now that Groudon Torkoal is dead. So I think that this combo is just extremely deadly. You can also run Icy Wind on Tornadus, so let's say you set up Tailwind, and then you're also setting up Icy Wind. It's just crazy combo, and of course Hurricane. So I think Tornadus Kyogre is really the talk of the town, if you will. These Pokemon are crazy good together. The synergy is nuts, and they're just insane. I think it's a really strong, potent combo, and if you don't have an answer to it right now, like you're probably not going to be doing very well. This combo is godlike. It's really good and really fun to use. Honestly, there's something just so cathartic about pressing Tailwind Water Spout and just watching the opponent's Pokemon die. It's just so good. So I think Tornadus is a really great partner. I also think Kartana is another secretly amazing partner. I don't think it's a big secret, but removing that fire type weakness and having such a strong water type goes and pays dividends for Kartana. Because now Kartana is just sitting there chilling, doesn't have to worry about the instants as much because they have to bring an instant into a Kyogre. If they mess up at any point, you're going to hit them with a Water Spout. So they're just really great together. Also, Kartana gets access to Max Airstream, so you're getting speed boost, making your Kyogre faster as well, which is always important with this Water Spout. You always want to be moving first. So I think those are the two best partners. I think Aleki, Incin, Amoonguss are also good, but those two, the kings right there. Kartana and Tornadus, you can't go wrong with those two. Grass types are really important because you can attack enemy Kyogres as well, while also being a safe switch into your own Kyogre. Now, to beat Kyogre, I think there's some options and there's a lot of options. I think speed control is really important. If Kyogre's moving first, you're probably losing. So I think stuff, bulky air streamers, such as like Assault Vestia Veltal, are really potent. I didn't like facing that. Matching Tailwinds is really scary. If they lead Whimsicott Kartana, there's not much I can do. But if they just lead Kartana without the speed control, control, I have the ability to just potentially max Airstream with my Tornadus and Water Spout, and that Kartana's dead. So I think even stuff like Kartana has to be really, really careful around Kyogre. But the main counters, I think, are Kartana, Rillaboom, and Alecki. Those three are very popular, very easy to fit on Pokemon that do very, very well against Kyogre. But I do think it's very important to note that for Kartana and Alecki, you need to have speed control. Otherwise, Kyogre will just move first, kill you with Water Spout anyways. It's kind of crazy how bad Kartana's special defense is, so Kyogre can do a lot to Kartana. I think Rillaboom is the exception here. Rillaboom's really, really good right now, and I think it is really, really good because it beats Kyogre. The ability to have priority Grassy Glide is really disgusting. So I think Rillaboom with a Choice Band or a Miracle Seed, it's very, very hard pressed for Kyogre to live. They have to switch in their Intimidate, or they have to just max, which is never a good thing. I don't think max Kyogre is that great because you're not pressing the Water Spout. I think it's really good situationally, and that's one thing I do love about Kyogre, is you don't have to max it for it to be good, but you can. I think that just makes it so flexible, and I think that's why it's the second best restricted behind Zacian. Another cute answer to Kyogre is Dialga if you want to commit your entire restricted. I think Dialga has gained a lot of traction this time around because it is so potent versus Kyogre. Kyogre can't really touch it. Its strongest move versus Dialga is Ice Beam, and that's neutral. Water Spout does more, I think. So, like, at the end of the day, Dialga is just destroying it. I actually do have a Dialga team I featured, and I featured a Kyogre team. I've used both ends, and being the Kyogre sucks. But Kyogre can win with the help of its partners. But I think one-on-one, obviously in a vacuum, Dialga's always winning. So Dialga's always a great way to approach Kyogre as well. There's other cheesy restricteds, like if you really want to use Zekrom or Kyurem Black, you can beat Kyogre, but like at what cost? You're not going to be able to win other ladder battles, but you can really mess up Kyogre. So if you really wanna, you know, tell them how much you hate Kyogre, whip out your Zekrom. Do it. I dare you. I think the way to play Kyogre is simply just speed control Water Spout. It's very simple. I've mentioned this a lot in this video. I've probably said this word like 1,000 times. Simple, simple, simple. This Pokemon is easy to use, and I think that's why I love it so much, and I think that's why it's so good. It's still proven itself. It was able to win the first tour of the new series, so it's definitely proven itself that even though it is very simple, it's still able to win tournaments and do incredibly well even against the world's best players. So I think Kyogre, even though it's simple and people know what it's doing, it's still hard to beat. The damage output is absolutely ridiculous. I would highly recommend testing Kyogre out. I do have a rental code on the team if you want to use Kyogre. It's kind of a fun Kyogre Pikachu team that I feature on the channel as well. But I think it's a great place to start and test out the Kyogre power. So overall, I think you should give Kyogre a try or make sure that you're able to beat it because this Pokemon is not going away for all of Series 8. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the guide, let me know in the comments below. If not, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry. Please like, comment, subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next Monday for another team breakdown. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.